Welcome, viewers, and thanks for tuning in to WACA TV's new business series, True Business Ownership with Rita Coco. I'm Rita, and I'm your host of these series. In each episode, we bring best practices for small business owners like yourself to you so that you can do a couple of things. One is grow your business exponentially, 2 to 10 times its size, without the suffering, the stress, or the sacrifice, which you know you've done in the past. And with every episode comes an expert. And today we have an expert also who I will introduce shortly. And this expert is an expert in their industry, and they know how to put best practices of that industry into your organization. So today our topic is avoiding financial woes, 10 reasons to nix DIY, that is do-it-yourself accounting. And today we have with us Karen Ceppetelli, who I want to say hello to right now. Hello, Karen, and how are you doing?
Very good, Rita. Hello to you as well.
Karen, before we begin, let me tell the viewers a little bit about who you are so that they get a sense of who's speaking to them today. Karen Ceppetelli is the owner of Acorn Business Advisors and has been the founder of that, or is the founder of that, since 2001. And in that time, or in that first year, she opened that business because a friend of a friend said, hey, can you help us out with bookkeeping? Now, Karen is going to say to you today, you may not want family or friends to help you with bookkeeping, and I don't remember what tip that is, but she's going to talk about those 10 tips. And yet she already had a BA in accounting, so she knew what she was doing in that first time with that friend of a friend. Karen is an enrolled agent and with the IRS, and what that means is the IRS has America's tax experts, and they're called enrolled agents, and she is one of them. So need to know that Karen is my accountant when it comes to preparing my taxes. I have depended on her, I don't remember how many years, it's like since forever with Karen. So she's, as an enrolled agent, she's a welcome member in several organizations that you may hear as something you know about, which is one is AICPA. Intuit, you know, that's the company that owns all the QuickBooks, a Provisor, and National Association of Enrolled Agents. So Karen can stay on top of the state-of-the-art accounting and bring it over to you and into your organization. So again, now it's time to welcome Karen once again and to get going.
All right, thanks so much for having me here today, Rita. I look forward to talking with everyone. So, yes.
So first of all, I hear that there are 10 points you're going to go over. So shall we start with point number 1? And is this the top point or is this random order, Karen?
Yeah, this is just a random order. They're not in order of importance or anything like that, but they all mesh together, and all of these items will help you run your business.
Okay, here's the drum roll. Let's get going.
Let's get going. Wonderful. So the first on the list, in no particular order, to nix DIY accounting is because expert advice goes a long way. For those of you who have seen the series, the basis of Schitt's Creek is the business manager did not pay their taxes.
Yikes. Yeah.
And hilarity ensues. And so essentially, one thing to remember is that accounting and math are 2 of the most failed classes in any school program, and with good reason. They're hard. And if you want to do your own accounting, you need to have a grasp of the accounting and bookkeeping principles and how those are going to relate to your business. Professional bookkeepers and accountants spend years learning their skills and how to apply it to a particular business. And what that is a good thing, because once you outsource that, you can spend more time running your business. And the other thing is all of this leads to taxes, and taxes are complicated. They change frequently, especially over the last number of years. So it's best to leave all of that to the experts.
And Karen, better you than me to do my accounting for sure. Folks, you've got to hear this and how important it is. Okay, love point number one. Let's keep going.
All right. So point number 2 to nix your DIY accounting is because home and personal finances must never meet. Mixing those two together is referred to as commingling. So no matter how large or small your business is, you want to have separate business and personal bank accounts. A few reasons why that is such a good idea. One is that when you're doing your business bookkeeping, if they're separate, you don't have to go through all your personal expenses to see, are those business, are they not? You've already divided that up by using the correct account. And another reason, if you're ever audited, which we hope you're not, commingling not only shows the lack of a serious business, you're not treating this like a business, but also it opens all of your personal items up to scrutiny. And who wants to do that?
No, Karen, when I think of how many folks that I have as clients who I just don't want to be audited. And I've heard, not my clients necessarily, but others, just other business owners, what drama ensues when you do have an audit. Not pretty. So glad to hear how one of the ways, or many of the ways, to get to stay away from that. Oof, for sure.
Yes. So, all right. Number 3 on our list to nix DIY accounting is you don't really want your bookkeeper to be a family member or a friend. While that may seem like a nice, easy out, oh, this is going to be easy. I will just have so-and-so do it after they finish their day job. Not necessarily, because no matter how large or small the business is, bookkeeping and accounting can be tedious, and it can be time consuming, and it requires a level of expertise if you want that done correctly. One thing to remember is doing it right the first time saves time from making corrections. And we all know, especially if you've listened to Rita, saving time is saving money. So there's a reason right there. And as mentioned before, tax rules change frequently, sometimes every year. And when those rules change, it can affect how you classify things with your bookkeeping. And do you expect your family member or a friend to keep up with all of those changes if this is not what they do for a living? Probably not. And a very important thing that a lot of people don't think about until it's too late is, do you really want your friend or your family member to know all of your financial details? Especially if these are people you're going to be sitting down to Thanksgiving dinner with. Do you want this stuff to come out? Do you want anybody to know either how much you're making and then they think you're being cheap, or how little the business is making and you're trying to grow it? Either way, it's just a bad idea.
Yeah, I do know, Karen, and I'm sure you've seen this yourself, the hesitancy of a business owner to even let go of any information about finances and to be able to have the trust of people, maybe someone you hire, maybe outsourcing. I'm sure you've heard people be reticent about handing it over. And then it's just sort of, well, it's family, why wouldn't I? Or it's a friend I trust. And then things happen. Yeah.
Yes. It never ends well. And along with that, our number 4 on the list, reason to nix DIY accounting, is because your time is valuable. So one thing I would ask business owners is, did you start your business looking forward to doing the accounting?
Mm.
In over 20 years, no one has ever answered positively to that question. They just don't. Seems to be the most dreaded task anyone can think of. So you want to assign those tasks to other people so you can spend your time growing your business. Quick story here is I usually ask potential clients, why did you decide to outsource this? Why am I here? One business owner proceeded to show me a picture his daughter drew of the family in the backyard. The one very interesting thing is that he was in the corner sitting at his desk while everyone else was playing in the yard. So that is what made him decide to outsource the bookkeeping. But every business owner has their own reason and their own story. And there's a lot of them out there.
And out of the mouths of babe or out of the pictures from the babe, sometimes it takes the little ones to really hit home.
Yes, yes. Yep. Number 5 on my list to nix DIY accounting is because learning the software and all the related items can take a lot of time. Which one do you use? Which is best for your business? So many software packages have different apps and things that can connect to it. Do you need those connections? Are they going to help you? And then learning the software, updates, changes, and things like that. And once you start Googling all of these things to look for them, you're going to see advertisements coming up on your computer constantly leading to, should I change? Should I not? Is what I'm doing right? A professional can cut through all of that and you're using what is best for your business.
So Karen, let me interrupt here for a moment because when I think of financial systems and I think of accounting, I think QuickBooks, I think QBO, I think desktop QuickBooks. So when you start to say systems, what is there? Is it because I remember is Peachtree still? Are you saying other systems or are you saying complementary systems? Tell us a little bit more about why we're not just thinking, the one and only.
Right. So basically, QuickBooks is a product. It's a canned software package.
Okay.
And
okay.
It is what it is. And the thing is, depending on the industry you're in your particular business, you may need some other items in there. If you want to use, it's not a CRM. It it doesn't do inventory that great. It does, but and stuff like that. And also depending on how you're going to invoice your clients, you may want something a little more robust. So there's a lot of apps that work with QuickBooks. QuickBooks is the giant in the room. So everyone with an app interfaces with QuickBooks. But do you really need 10 apps to interface with QuickBooks? Or will these 2 apps do everything for you? So you want to know what is going on and what you need, because the more things you have going into QuickBooks, it may or may not be the best thing for your particular business.
So what you're saying, Karen, is that it's when we think of our financial business area, we're not just talking about our tax, getting ready for it, invoicing. It's the entire systematizing of that financial structure, and that's where you can help us.
Correct. How is the money coming in? How is the money going out?
Okay, good. Okay, I got it.
You got it. All right, wonderful. Number 6 is bookkeeping is not foolproof. It just isn't. The software is only as reliable as the information you put in. So you have to know what you're putting in to the system. And a lot of programs will say, oh, we're going to do it automatically for you. Not really. It makes its best guess. So you want someone who knows what they're doing, because one thing to remember is that inaccurate bookkeeping leads to inaccurate reports, which leads to inaccurate, business decisions. If you're relying on those reports, what do I do next to grow? And most importantly, it leads to inaccurate tax returns. So everything builds on that bookkeeping. So you want to be sure that is done the best way possible.
Garbage in, garbage out.
Yes, essentially. Yep.
Even in this world of systems. Good to know again, Karen.
Good to know. All right. And our number 7 reason is, owners believe what they want to believe. I tend to see business owners are very optimistic, but are you really seeing what your financials are telling you? The revenue may look great, but what about the profit? Sometimes it's very difficult to see what you don't want to see. You need an outsider to do that. And often the accountant is the first person to see that there's going to be cash flow issues. You're going to run out of cash. So it's always good to have that unbiased opinion as well. Yeah.
I got to tell you, Karen, I've had experience. One of my clients said to me, I don't care how many, and keep this in context, I don't care how many zeros are after my gross revenue, because I just don't want to keep working more to make more or to have more gross revenue if I'm still pocketing the same amount of profit and I'm working more and getting more jobs, but I'm pocketing the same. And I'm so glad that I've got you in my court, and hopefully I'm in your court when it comes to, telling the folks, wait a minute, there's another focus here. Because we do tend to look at revenue. I'm guilty as charged, but I'm not alone. And so viewers out there, remember, it's nice to see those zeros at the end of the revenue, gross revenue, but it's the profitability, especially when you go to sell, it's the profitability and not the revenue. But that's another story. Okay, Karen, I get it.
Definitely. Number 8, you want to nix your DIY accounting because the back of the napkins are for wiping, not for scribbling out loan applications.
Scribbling out loan applications?
Yes, I've seen that.
Oh my goodness.
So at a networking event, I met up with a loan officer whose name I kind of recognized from an email I had just received. And to find out, this loan officer had just started working with one of my clients. And so I brought this up and she's like, oh, great. I'm so excited that she has somebody professional helping her with this loan application. So a few points there that really brings up. Having professional reports, not the back of a napkin, to give to the bank or another lender, it gives a better impression. The accountant is going to have knowledge more of the requested items, that long list you get, and, balance sheet, cash flow reports. They may be looking for budgets for this project, your KPIs, your key performance indicators and such. And when you're working with a professional, you can get that information to the loan officer who can expedite the process, and they're not going back and forth with you over and over again.
And Karen, some of those items that are on that list are items that the business owners should be looking at weekly, should be taking care to understand, how do I shift on a weekly basis from what I learned. A lot of us doing, and I know we've talked about this, leading indicators and trailing indicators, the P&L. Okay, it's a month later and I'm looking at my P&L. Well, you can't do anything with the last 4 weeks if you're looking at your P&L in a monthly basis. So what can you look at weekly? What are those numbers on a weekly basis?
Correct.
Yeah, so and those aren't on a napkin either.
No, definitely not.
But they're all available. And not just when you need them for the loan or to give to you, Karen. So
Right.
I love this point, because it makes more points, other than just that one, which I love the napkin idea.
Right. You love the
Yeah.
napkin thing. Yeah. Because
Yeah.
you can use these reports in so many ways.
Oh,
So many
good.
ways. So now a little bit of a downer here. Reason to nix DIY is you never think anyone's going to steal from you. So
Oh,
business owners don't tend to protect themselves. Luckily, not one of my clients, but a client of another accountant had a dental office for a client. Same front desk person for years who was suddenly out because of illness. And when someone else took over, it was discovered that everyone who had been paying cash, the cash never made it to the bank.
oh my goodness. Oh my God. Oh
The front
God.
desk person for decades had been pocketing the cash and just marking everything as paid.
Oh
So
my, for years, never got.
decades.
Oh my God. Oh my word.
So one of the things to do is you need proper controls and policies and separation of duties. And your accountant can help you put those into place so that the same person is not taking the money, depositing the money, reconciling the money, that sort of thing. And you want to protect yourself, and that just having the policies in place will do a world of good for you. And you want to do this before it happens.
For sure, Karen. Oh
Yeah.
my goodness. Oh,
Yes. So
let's go on to number 10.
let's go on. We will just go on here.
Yeah.
All right. Another reason to nix DIY accounting is always keep in mind the IRS prosecuted Al Capone, not the FBI.
Okay.
So
I haven't heard that one.
yep. So while Al Capone might have been great at his business, we'll just leave it at that. He wasn't up to date on his accounting and taxes, because the IRS requires that you report all of your income, whether by legal or illegal means. He didn't file his taxes. And so basically, you don't want to get on the radar for the IRS, the State Department, your local tax collector, anything like that. So stay compliant with all of these regulations. Locally, there's usually like a form of lists. And then on the state level, a lot of withholding taxes, fiduciary taxes, and of course the federal level as well. And as always, these rules change, dates vary, so you definitely need a professional with all of those things. You don't want any of these people to know your name.
I'm going to remember the Al Capone for
Yes.
sure. For sure. Well, those are the 10, right?
Yes, those are the 10.
And we've got about 3 more minutes. So I heard you had an extra credit one for us.
We have an extra credit one with a little bit of levity.
Okay.
It's all been very, unfortunately. But anyway, all right, the pandemic has made us all into Humpty Dumptys. And let me explain why I say that. All right, we're all recovering from the last 2 years. Even if our profits did not suffer, even if they went up, we still have moments when we feel like a fall could be coming on at any time. We've had the floor fall out from under us. And so now is the time to plan for a safety net. When you're doing well, get that line of credit. Have things in place so that your business can keep going. Whatever internal or external forces happen, have a plan.
Humpty Dumpty.
Humpty Dumpty. We all know what happened to Humpty Dumpty, and you want to be able to put your business back together again. So.
Oh, wow. That's a great extra credit. And I know with that last 11th one, that extra credit one, we really appreciate it. And we are ready to wrap up. We've got about 2 more minutes, Karen. And in that time, at least with you, can you give us 3 reasons why our viewers are going to you, Karen, the top 3 reasons why a small business owner would say, it is so time for Karen, and they didn't see the little picture that their children did, or their child did, but something else. So what are the top 3?
Right. The first one is just get started. It's never too early and it's never too late. And also, a lot of business owners are very embarrassed if their books are not in a good place. I don't want to give them to you until they're perfect. Well, I'm here to make them perfect. Hand that over. We can fix it. Doing it right the first time when you hand it over may take longer, but in the long run, it's going to pay off by having everything set up correctly. And number 3, ask questions. Business owners, even though they're not doing it themselves, they need to understand the financial aspects of their business so they can make better business decisions.
Wow. Karen, this is perfect. I am so thrilled that you had the opportunity to be with us today. It's been a wonderful count up to our 11, but I think viewers know now what they need to really wrap their arms around, that they say, I'm an owner and I do need to relinquish this. So thanks so much for being here today.
Oh, thanks so much, Rita, for having me on. This has been fun.
Great. Give me a moment, and I want to get back to our viewers. Viewers, you have, at the end of this time together, at the end of this show, you will see Karen's email. If you want to give her a question or 2, please use that email and don't hesitate to reach out to her. She's always right there for me, and I know others who have used her have said the same thing. Number 2, and the last, well, there's 2 other things I want to say before we close, and it is this. If even one morsel of information is something you learned today that you can use tomorrow, then please tune in to our August episode, when we have an employment lawyer coming to do this. He's actually given me his a topic, adapting to the new legal landscape for employees in Massachusetts. There's a lot of new info and laws coming already in that pipeline that you need to be aware of. So please go to WACA TV and find out when our August episode will be. And until then, have a great month and take care. See you soon.